Everyone thinks David Goggins hit a cosmic light switch one day, a 300-pound exterminator. The next, a chiseled Navy SEAL. That's the meme, right? Quantum leap, magic. But sorry, no fairy dust here. It was just a man dragging a mind fractured by trauma. Through months of brutal 4:30 a.m., workouts on a measly 800 calories, rebuilding himself like a jigsaw puzzle that was missing half its pieces. The real kicker, the only quantum part, was a handful of brutal mental jumps he forced himself to make. So, stick around, because the actual timeline is uglier, smarter, and way more useful than anything you've been sold. I've read the comments under every Goggins clip. Man, I wish I could just flip the switch like him. We treat his life like some kind of Netflix montages. Kip the suffering, cue the glory. Today, we're nooking that montage. You're going to get the actual, months-long grind, the neuroscience behind callousing the mind, and the exact pivotal moments he rewired a brain that trauma once completely hijacked. When we're done, the only question left will be whether you're willing to pay the same ugly, inconvenient price. Social media loves extremes, doesn't it? He lost 106 pounds in 3 months in real. The algorithm practically rewards superlatives, so we just absorb this lie that profound change can teleport. Goggins, in his own way, sometimes fuels that myth by talking in these intense war metaphors. But war isn't one battle. It's 1,000 grueling patrols through mud, day after day. Yes. You gotta look closer at those famous before and after photos. Between them sits 106 consecutive days where he woke before sunrise, cycled 40 miles, swam 2 kilometers, and ran a half marathon all while eating the caloric equivalent of just 2 turkey sandwiches. Repeat that schedule once before you even think about calling it an overnight miracle. This wasn't a sudden burst of motivation. It was a sustained, excruciating siege on his own comfort zone, a relentless chipping away at his former self. It was the epitome of a gradual, gritty process where every single day was a battle he chose to win. Goggins' childhood was pretty much a masterclass in external control. An abusive father, a racist schoolyard, learning deficits permanently stamped onto his record. By 24, his mind, his very identity, belonged to everyone but him. Neuroscientists have a term for this, an external locus of control. It means your brain's GPS is set by other people, by circumstances, by past traumas. The result? Depression, drive-through dinners, and a soul-crushing job killing cockroaches at night. The supposed quantum leap he made wasn't physical, not primarily anyway. It was a title deed transfer. He was taking ownership of the real estate between his ears. Describes it like puzzling back pieces of his brain, reclaiming control from the fragmentation caused by trauma. Most people skip this absolutely crucial step, and then they wonder why every diet, every self-help course, every planner they try fails them spectacularly.
Ow.
They're trying to build a new house on someone else's land. He didn't just declare, "Hey, I'm becoming a SEAL," and then immediately bench press a truck. No, he targeted one fear at a time, systematically dismantling them. Water, for instance, terrified him. So what did he do? He enrolled in a community pool, showing up at 5 a.m., 4 laps, lashing around like a netted seal, battling panic with every stroke. Each single lap wasn't just physical exertion. It was a vote for a new identity, a tangible act of defiance against his fear. After weeks of that, he earned a single, shaky pull-up. Months later, he could string 20 together. Confidence compounds like interest, but only if you refuse to withdraw early, if you keep reinvesting those small wins. By the time he actually dropped the weight and applied, the SEAL dream was a dizzying leap. It was the logical next brick in a towering staircase he painstakingly mortared with countless micro-victories. It wasn't just building muscle. He was building an unshakable belief in himself, one painful, deliberate step at a time. Let's put dietary masochism in perspective, shall we? 3 egg whites, oatmeal the size of a hockey puck, a chicken breast so thin you could play solitaire on it repeat 5 times. Daily total, 800 kilocalories. Combine that with hours of intense cardio, and you've got a body that's quite literally eating itself. Doctors warn, and rightly so, do not try this at home. Goggins didn't have a coach, a nutritionist, or even common sense guiding him. He had a mirror and a mission. The scale moved because the margin for quitting literally shrank to 0. Most of us quit diets when Starbucks runs out of oat milk, right? He, however, endured 3 months of metabolic hell because the Navy scale said 191 pounds or go home. Those results looked absolutely quantum, almost magical, but the inputs, they were medieval, bordering on self-torture, a testament to sheer unadulterated will. Science confirms this. Repeated voluntary exposure to hardship actually thickens neural circuits in your prefrontal cortex, that's the seat of willpower and executive function. Goggins quite literally engineered those reps, those moments of deliberate discomfort. The first truly massive spike, a real quantum leap-like shift, came when he finally told his abusive father, "You don't own me anymore." It was verbal, decisive, and irreversible. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman labels such moments limbic leverage, where intense emotion combined with a clear declaration fundamentally rewires the brain's prediction models. Did it happen overnight? Not exactly. But in that single, powerful sentence, he collapsed a decade of victimhood. That is as close to a quantum leap as humans get, a synaptic update that rewrites the past. And future, at the speed of thought, a neurobiological basis for these transformative leaps. It's not magic. It's your brain adapting to a new, self-imposed reality. He ingeniously packaged this deep rewiring into 3 simple, yet profoundly effective tools anyone can steal and use. Accountability mirror. You strip your shirt off, stare at your reflection, and list every single flaw out loud. No self-esteem fluff here, just brutal, unvarnished truth on a constant loop. It forces an unflinching confrontation with reality. Cookie jar. When the pain peaks, when you feel like you're about to break, you reach into a mental jar filled with past wins, past moments of overcoming. You don't gorge on them. You just nibble for fuel, a quick reminder of your strength, and then it's right back to the battle. It's a strategic deployment of self-efficacy. Callousing the mind, you schedule daily discomfort the same way gyms schedule leg day. Rep after rep, pushing against resistance until adversity itself starts to feel like nothing more than background noise. It's about building mental resilience through consistent, voluntary exposure to what you'd rather avoid. Together, these aren't abstract ideas. They convert the vague notion of "I want to change" into tangible, trackable reps, like miles on a treadmill, building a mind that refuses to break. Here's a fact the media often leaves out because it kills the superhero vibe. Goggins failed Hell Week on his first SEAL attempt. Stress fractures, pneumonia, they pulled him from the surf like driftwood. He was physically and mentally broken. But the story doesn't end there. He went back, not once, but twice more, finally finishing on his 3rd attempt. Each recycle meant rebuilding from absolute zero, watching his classmates advance while he started over. The crucial takeaway here? Big outcomes, truly transformative ones, often demand multiple runs through the same hell. If your personal transformation feels like a frustrating endless loop, congratulations, you're probably enrolled in the correct, albeit brutally difficult, course. Failure wasn't a stop sign for him. It was a necessary detour, a learning opportunity, and a crucible that forged even greater resolve. All right, quick gut check. What's the lie you keep retelling yourself? Too old? Too broke? Too busy? Type it in the comments below, then leave it there like a digital gravestone. Let's see who's truly willing to outrun their excuse. Our culture, let's be honest, sells comfort as a birthright. We believe in hacks, in magic pills, in 10-minute abs. Goggins, however, inverted the entire incentive structure. He made comfort the enemy. Most brains recoil at that swap because it's metabolically expensive. The psyche inherently likes homeostasis, that comfortable equilibrium. But neuroplasticity research shows us that real, lasting change only sticks when the reward of that change outweighs the energy cost of making it. Goggins hacked this equation by tying his very identity to performance, not to pleasure. Once the ego latches onto that new, tougher reward loop, quitting actually becomes more painful than continuing. That's why he can run 200-mile races on busted legs, while the rest of us mere mortals hit the snooze button for the 3rd time. He fundamentally changed what his brain perceived as a reward. Strip the legend down to the studs, and what do you find? One supremely transferable asset? Absolute, unyielding ownership. It's not motivation, it's not talent, and it's certainly not luck, it's ownership. The real leap isn't vertical, soaring into the sky. It's horizontal. You step sideways out of the victim plot, the narrative where things happen to you, and into the author plot, where you actively create your reality. Once that profound move locks in, every incremental effort, every silent struggle, every early morning compounds into what looks like a moonshot to outsiders. Your friends haven't seen your grind, so the end result feels impossible, unbelievable. Spoiler alert, it's just been hidden behind 5 a.m. alarms, silent suffering, and a relentless commitment to yourself. So, did David Goggins quantum leap? Yes, if by quantum you mean a brutal, relentless sequence of microscopic decisions that collectively rewired a traumatized brain until extreme discipline became the absolute default setting. The montage you crave is available, but the editor is pain. The soundtrack is your own pounding heartbeat, and the release date is entirely TBD by how hard you're willing to work. Stop waiting for a lightning bolt moment. Grab a shovel and start digging. The leap is real, but it's measured in inches, in miles, and sometimes in broken bones, not in mouse clicks or effortless shifts. Now, what's the next small fear you're finally going to face? Leave it below, then go punch it in the face.